In today's video, I'm going to teach you ClickUp automation examples. We're diving into a practical walkthrough that shows you how to speed up your workflow with a simple, reliable automation. By the end, you'll know how to trigger an action whenever a task status changes, and how to fine-tune the behavior with conditions and usage insights so you can keep everything running smoothly. To get started, open your ClickUp workspace and look toward the top of your screen for the small lightning bolt icon. That's the shortcut to automations, and it's where the magic happens. Go ahead and click it. When you do, a drop-down menu appears with several options tailored to where you are in your workspace. From this menu, you'll want to head to Create Automation. You'll find this option under the section labeled Other Automations. Click it to open the automation builder. Inside the builder, choose whether you want the automation to apply to tasks or subtasks. For most teams, tasks is the right place to begin, but if your process is heavily subtask driven, choose subtasks instead. Click the option that matches your workflow so the automation targets the work items you actually use day to day. Next, it's time to set up the trigger. The trigger is what tells ClickUp when to run your automation. It can be just about anything you want. Changes to a task status, key dates being reached, or updates to custom fields. For this tutorial, we'll focus on status changes since they're one of the most common and powerful triggers. Choose status changes as the trigger type so your automation responds whenever a task moves from one stage to another in your pipeline. Now specify the exact status transition you care about. We'll configure the trigger for when a task moves from active to closed. First, select active as the starting status. Then choose closed as the destination status. This tells ClickUp to watch for tasks that are actively in progress and then get completed, which is a perfect moment to kick off follow-up actions, keep your records tidy, or notify the right people without manual effort. With the trigger defined, switch over to the action side of the automation. This is where you decide what should happen after the status changes. For our example, we'll manage assignees automatically. Choose the action to update assignees. This closes the loop on your process and keeps ownership clear even after a task is finished. Now, click Select a User, and from the options presented, choose Task Creator. This assigns the task back to whoever created it, which is helpful for final review, documentation, or accountability reporting. Once your action looks right, click Create to save the automation. Before you move on, it's a good idea to double-check the trigger details. Open the trigger section again and confirm status changes is selected with the flow from active to closed. Reviewing these settings helps ensure you won't miss edge cases, and it guarantees your automation fires only when it should. A quick verification step here can prevent confusion later and keeps your system predictable. At this point, your automation is nearly complete. If you want more control, you can add additional settings, like conditions to refine when the automation runs. Click Condition to explore the available filters. Choose Change Assignees to focus the rule based on assignment changes. Conditions let you narrow down scenarios so that your automation only runs when all your specified criteria are met, which is especially useful in busy spaces with many updates happening at once. Think of conditions as your safety net for precision. There's also a helpful way to monitor how your automation is performing over time. Click Usage to view the number of times this particular automation has been implemented. This metric gives you visibility into whether the rule is actually doing work for you, and it can highlight opportunities to optimize. If the number is low, you might broaden the trigger or adjust the conditions. If it's high, that's a great sign your setup is saving time and reducing manual effort. A few quick tips as you wrap up. Keep your automation scope focused to avoid overlap with other rules. If you have multiple automations handling similar events, review them together so they don't conflict or create duplicate actions. Consider naming conventions and documentation within your team so everyone knows what each automation does and when it fires. And after you create a new rule, test it with a sample task to see the exact behavior end to end. Watching it run once will confirm that your status transition, assignee update, and any conditions behave exactly as intended. That's the complete flow we set up. Open the Automations panel using the lightning bolt. Choose Create Automation under Other Automations. Target tasks or subtasks. Set the trigger to status, changes from active to closed. Define the action to update assignees. Pick the task creator as the user. Click. Create to finalize. Review the trigger for accuracy. Add a condition for change assignees if you want more control, and check usage to see how often it runs. With that, you've built a clean, dependable automation that keeps your workflow organized and your team informed without extra clicks. And that's it. Your practical introduction to ClickUp automation examples. You now have a repeatable pattern you can reuse for different triggers, statuses, or fields, all while keeping ownership and follow-ups crystal clear. Happy automating, and I'll see you in the next one.